All right, let's get into a story that, honestly, is one of the most baffling and just deeply unsettling mysteries of our lifetime. It's a story that starts out completely normal, but ends with a question mark so big it covers the entire globe.
And just like that, it was gone. We live in a world where you can track a pizza to your front door in real time, right? Yet a massive Boeing 777 with 239 people on board could just vanish.
So to really wrap your head around how wild this event was, we have to go back to the beginning, because it all started out so incredibly, almost boringly normal.
I mean, picture it. It's 2014, it's just another late-night flight, people are getting settled, maybe they're putting on headphones, planning to sleep for a few hours and wake up in Beijing. There was absolutely zero indication that this flight would be any different from the thousands that take off every single day.
And then, somewhere in the darkness, high over the ocean, that routine was just completely shattered. Okay, so look at this timeline. It's kind of bone-chilling how simple and quick it is. At 1:19 a.m., you get this totally calm, standard sign-off from the cockpit. Good night. Then literally 2 minutes later, its transponder, the thing that lets air traffic control see it on the screen, just blinks out. It wasn't some dramatic explosion. It was more like someone just erased it.
And we have to remember, that's not just a number. That's 239 people. 239 entire worlds, families, stories, suddenly plunged into a mystery that to this day has no answers.
And this is maybe the weirdest part of all, the silence. There was no Mayday call, no panicked message about engine trouble, nothing. Pilots are trained to communicate, right? Any problem, you call it in. But from them, there was just nothing.
But hold on, because this is where the story takes a turn from a tragedy into something much, much stranger. The plane was a ghost on the radar, sure, but it wasn't completely gone.
In fact, you could say that vanishing from the radar screen wasn't the end of the story at all. It was actually the beginning of the real enigma, because the plane clearly didn't just fall out of the sky. So this is the question that just blew investigators' minds. What if, after going dark, the plane just kept on flying, silently, through the night, on a course to who knows where? It turns out investigators found a kind of electronic breadcrumb trail. A satellite company realized their satellite had been picking up these faint, automated pings from the plane. Think of it like a phone that's on but not being used. It's just quietly checking in with the network. These pings proved one incredible thing. The plane was still powered up and flying for almost 7 more hours. And then there's this part, which is it's absolutely heartbreaking. In those first few desperate days, family members were calling the cell phones of their loved ones. And they said the phones would ring, they'd connect, but nobody would ever pick up. Just silence. Can you even imagine that?
So when you have a complete vacuum of information like this, speculation is going to rush in to fill the void. And with MH370, the theories started flying, from the totally plausible to, stuff that sounds like it's straight out of a movie. And really, 2 main camps started to form. On one side, you had the more rational, though sinister ideas, like a sophisticated hijacking, where the plane was deliberately flown to some secret location. But then, because the whole thing felt so impossible, you had people wondering about wilder things. Did it somehow fly into a modern-day Bermuda Triangle? And of course, that lack of hard evidence just fueled all kinds of conspiracies. Whispers started going around that there were final messages, maybe texts or photos sent from passengers, but that for some reason, they were being hidden from the public.
So here we are all these years later. After what became the most expensive and extensive search in aviation history, we're pretty much left with the same painful, enduring riddle we started with. Now, we have found some things. A few pieces of the wing and tail have washed up on coastlines in Africa, thousands of miles away, so that confirms it went down in the Indian Ocean. But these tiny fragments, they don't tell us how it happened, or why, or even really where the main wreckage is. And that means the most important pieces of this whole puzzle are still out there. The main wreckage of the plane itself, gone. The black boxes, which hold all the flight data and cockpit recordings, still lost. And most importantly, 239 people are still missing, which leaves us all with this huge, unsettling question. The story of MH370 is more than just an unsolved mystery. It's a real challenge to our whole sense of modern safety. It's a chilling reminder that even in our super-connected world, the planet is still big enough and our technology is still imperfect enough for a giant airplane to just fly off
and never be seen again.